All right, guys, welcome. I appreciate everyone all over the place coming in. Canada, as Tracy said, rocking the house here. We've got interest from all over the world here, and that's pretty exciting because this really is a worldwide product. It knows no boundaries when it comes to fuel. It's really the topic of the year. Is fuel prices and how people can save on fuel. So let's go into some of these slides here. We're going to talk a little bit about saving on fuel costs, lowering emissions, saving on maintenance, and then more power as far as horsepower goes. This is a pretty amazing product and it has 35 years of research in it. We're going to talk a little bit about that. 4 billion gallons. When we talk about fuel products out there, especially fuel tabs and fuel catalysts, fuel enhancers, treatments, etc. This product that we have here is a patented product with 35 years of research. It has over 4 billion gallons of gas in over 22 countries around the world. So this has been tested, it's been tried, it's been put through the ringer. This formulation is the fourth formulation that this formulator has created, making it better and better and better every single time. We'll talk a little bit about the history. Again, this is a worldwide patent, not just US, not just Canada, but worldwide. And really before this product, there were no other solid fuel catalysts on the market. I mean, back in the day, people were putting mothballs in their cars to boost the octane, because mothballs used to contain naphthalene in it. They don't do it anymore. Mothballs aren't made of that anymore, but that used to be the thing, and that was a solid catalyst back then. Today, obviously, we're far more advanced. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to create a product like this, but fortunately our formulator is one. He is a PhD chemist, and like I said, 35 years of research, 4 billion gallons of gas, or fuel I should say, because this particular product we'll talk about is good for all hydrocarbon fuels. We're talking gas, diesel, biodiesel, kerosene, home heating oil. This really, any type of hydrocarbon fuel, this product works with. So here's a little bit of a timeline here. I like to say this is where it began in 1986. It started in 1994, and we're going to take it to the moon in 2022. 1986, our formulator and the founder and the creator of this patent, he actually was creating and working on burn rate modulators for the Hercules rocket program for NASA. And in 1988, he started his own company actually formulating and manufacturing rocket fuel for NASA. So as an employee, as a scientist, as a chemist, he worked on the what ends up being part of the formula and part in the patent to the product that we have today, with organometallic compounds, and we'll talk about that. But this is the long history. So after and during his NASA manufacturing contract, he also started creating a consumer grade product. And we say consumer grade, we're talking about heavy machinery, just non-governmental customers. So we're talking about heavy equipment, mining facilities, automobiles, trucks, tractor trailers. I mean, literally anything with an engine, including motorcycles, mopeds, they were putting in this product to see what results and what kind of testing that they could do. And what was pretty amazing about this is how versatile it is. So I've got binders here of testimonials from 1994 forward of all sorts of machinery, from generators to processing plants at sand pits, to big power generations in India, 22 countries, right down to the moped in Mexico and the motorcycle in Utah that they've had testing on with the dyno machine. So a lot of testing. It is the most tested fuel additive, I believe, out there. And that's what you get when you have a scientist that formulates something. It's not good enough to just be a good quote unquote marketer, right? To tell people, they really want the science behind it, and they certainly have done that, and we'll go through some of that. 2006, they had found a pre-activated hydrocarbon, and it's what they use in the formula today. This pre-activated hydrocarbon is really it's almost the star of the show. So the thing about most of these products out there, they're 2-ingredient products, right? It costs probably 6, maybe 8 cents in raw material to create these other fuel tabs that are out there. It costs more just in the micro encapsulation of one of our ingredients than it does their entire tab. So this pre-activated hydrocarbon is really, it absorbs heat, tremendous absorber of heat. It wraps itself around ferrocene. Now, I'm not a scientist, but I'm trying to explain this, and as its way is explained to me. So it wraps itself in the ferrocene as an encapsulation tool and as a carrier. And so you'll notice with some of the liquids, and we'll go through that again, the liquid portion of the fuel additive in the liquids, that's the carrier, right? The active ingredients, very small percentage in it. And the rest of it is a carrier that kind of cushions and protects the active ingredients from oxidation, from being flammable. That's really one of the major reasons, and also anti-gelling. And we'll go through that in a minute. But 2011, they applied for the patent worldwide. It got accepted. And 2022 is where we come in. And again, we're in right now 22 countries and plan on expanding from there. So billions of gallons of fuel treated, billions of customers or millions of customers, and millions of vehicles out there. Let me give you one pretty exciting example here. This is a case study that they did with Walmart, actually down here in Brooksville, Florida. They did a 5-month test on Walmart in their transportation department on their big trucks. And what they found overall over that 5-month period was an 8% increase in miles per gallon. So if you look at that in Walmart numbers, as far as how many gallons and how much they spend on gas, that's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars saved in just fuel, not to talk about the increase in power and the other benefits that Walmart found from using that product. This is the problem really right here. It is carbon buildup. This is the enemy. Every time I see a picture like this of carbon buildup, I always think of those commercials back when I was younger where they showed, this is your healthy lung and this is your lung on cigarettes, where it's kind of the blackened lung type of thing, or, this is your brain and this is your brain on drugs. This kind of reminds me of that type of photo where this is really, and you think about disease in the body, you don't feel it, you don't really see it until far after it's already taken hold inside the body. And the very, very similar with the carbon buildup in your car, you don't really see it, you don't really feel it until it becomes a problem, right? So and even some of the effects like the lower fuel economy and loss of power, you don't really see right off. It's a slow progressive decline that eventually you have the aha moment and look at the tank and say, I was getting 25 miles to the gallon, I'm only getting 19 now. What's the problem? Well, the problem is carbon buildup, and it affects almost every part of your automobile. Everything from the knocking sound, hard starts, that has to do with the type of fuel, the fuel filter, catalytic converter has a lot to do with this, and we'll talk about that as well. Fuel efficiency, corrosion, the things you can't see are really the most damaging when it comes to carbon. Now, carbon buildup is unburned fuel. The way that fuel burns in the combustion chamber, it is not the heat or the way that it is burned or catalyzed in the combustion chamber is not equal. If you think about fuel as small and large compounds or molecular structures, you'll come to understand that the smaller structures are getting a little bit more oxygen. They're burning faster than the larger hydrocarbon clusters, which are burning a little bit slower. And the temperature variations in your engine running from 200 to 1200, all those little hot spots, wherever carbon is built up in your combustion chamber, it starts to ignite and create pre-ignition in some cases, where it lights before the spark plug or the glow plug lights. it actually catches on fire and has the fuel pre-ignite, and that causes all kinds of problems in the combustion chamber. But carbon, I'm kind of ranting a little bit, but carbon is really the enemy of the car. It's abrasive, it's acidic, all kinds of issues with carbon. And so what this product does, it does multiple things, but one of the major things that it does is that it cleans your engine. Right? It cleans your fuel system. It gets rid of all this carbon, and it does it in a pretty unique way. Now, everyone can say they do this and they do that and they do this with their products, and that's perfectly fine. Not trying to knock any really one particular product, trying to knock everyone saying that they can do the same things as we can do, really when they can't. So let's talk a little bit about this. This is elementary school, schematic of your fuel system. You have the fuel tank, you have the fuel filter, the engine, the catalytic converter, and your exhaust, right? Pretty self-explanatory, but all of these little processes, all of these little points here make a huge difference in the efficiency and the effectiveness of combustion. So where our tab enters the system, we throw it into the fuel tank, and what happens immediately is you start to have a reaction, a chemical reaction at the molecular level. In fact, if you look at some of these other products, put them into your tank, take the fuel, and then test it, you would be able to identify that product as an additive to fuel. Okay, if you took a sample of our treated fuel and did tests on it, you would not find, it would be undetectable, the tab and the chemical compounds, because it becomes part of fuel. The hydrocarbon, the pre-activated hydrocarbon carrier, that's one of the ingredients in this formula, actually comes from fuel. So when you put this tab into your fuel, if anybody's seen the dissolution test that I did with the two different tabs out there, you'll see that ours dissolves very, very quickly. It's the fastest dissolving tab solid that's out there, because of the way that it's built and because of the hydrocarbon carrier being a byproduct of natural gas, right? So it becomes part of the fuel again and practically undetectable. One of the only ways you actually can detect this in the gas is that the formulator and the manufacturer actually puts a little marker in the formula, right? A little marker that they can detect. And they do that because if there ever happens to be, there never has been in 35 years, but if there ever happens to be some sort of insurance claim, or if they want to test the parts per million of the product and fuel, they're able to identify this marker that they've put into this formula, and they can test the parts per million and the quantity of the tab in the fuel. So as soon as we put this in the fuel tank, it starts to dissolve. It starts to work at a molecular level. It starts to stabilize the fuel. This is a really huge part of it, because in fuel, you have these, they call it these washed gums or unwashed gums, these gums that actually make carbon even stickier when it goes into your combustion chamber in your engine. And then you have all water, and you have all these other contaminants in there that this product starts to emulsify the water, disperse it. It bonds with some of the water molecules to make it more flammable, and then it starts to modulate the burn rate. And so this is getting really sciencey, and the next slide's even worse. But if you're a geek like me, you really appreciate it. And I won't spend too much time on it, but I think it's really important to understand how it works in order for you to explain it to somebody else, not in this particular way, but just the overview. But what happens they call it the first step. And what that basically means is that every type of reaction first has a first step, right? It's the slowest step in any type of reaction. So I always relate it to like a water tower. If you imagine the water tower being the reaction, right? And then you think of somebody shooting a bullet hole into that water tower and the water coming out, that would be the slowest step, right? Of getting that water out of the entire reaction of releasing all of that water. Whatever the slowest step is, that's as fast as that reaction can happen. And this is what happens with combustion and unburnt carbon, is that the reaction is all over the place, right? You have different degrees from 200 to 1200. You have different size molecular clusters, hydrocarbon clusters that burn at different temperatures and different rates. And it burns so fast in one area that not all the hydrocarbon is burned in other areas. So it becomes carbon. What a modulator does is that it lowers the temperature where combustion can happen, right? And then it slows the process of combustion. So all of the carbon in the hydrocarbon in the fuel is burned. I hope that makes sense, because it is really pretty a spectacular process if you think about it. It slows the rate and it evens the temperature, disperses it so that all of the carbon burns. So where you'd have normal carbon or hydrocarbon that burnt at, we'll say, 600 to 800 degrees, and now can burn as low as 200 degrees. So it's allowing more of the carbon, more of the hydrocarbon to burn, and less carbon buildup. So that happens in the fuel tank before it even hits your combustion chamber in your engine. That frees up your filter from contaminants in water and things like that, which is it doesn't seem like much, but it puts a strain on your pump. It takes away from the efficiency of the vehicle as a whole, as it's calling for more energy, more fuel, and the pump is working overtime. And if you're clogged, you're going to have all kinds of issues with starting and idling and things like that. Going into engine, I think we kind of went over that quickly of what it does. One of the other big parts, and we'll talk about this the next slide, is hydrocarbon redox. And it's not redox, that happens too, but redox is the recycling of carbon. And what our product does, it works very differently than anything with like amine compounds or any type of detergents in it. This recycles the carbon inside your combustion chamber. So it uses every bit of energy, and it takes what used to be waste and turns it back into energy again, and then puts it out of your exhaust 70 to 80% cleaner than the emissions before our product. Catalytic converters, you kind of overlook these a little bit, and I'm going to show you a picture of one in a second, but catalytic converters are really important because they not only keep the combustion between the manifold and the exhaust, but it also filters obviously all of the unwanted emissions. But it doesn't filter all of them. But when it becomes clogged, or when there are obstacles or obstructions, it ends up doing all kinds of things, not only to the emissions coming out, but backfiring up into, as far as pressure, up into your engine. So having a clean catalytic converter is super, super important. And of course, the exhaust we just talked about. I'm not going to go over this, but you can, again, I'll move this over this, and you can take a look at this, slow it down. Low temperature combustion, we talked about lowering the temperature. One of the cool things about this product, when we talk about Redux, is that one of the benefits of putting this product into your tank and it going through its process of burning more of the carbon and more of the fuel completely, it actually lends an electron to the acidic carbon that is formed on your engine. So what it ends up happening, because our product is a base when in the combustion process, right? So it lends an electron to the acidic hydrocarbon that's resistant to combustion. And so it allows us to be able to burn more of the fuel. And what detergents do, detergents or amine compounds, or however you want to market it and spin it, detergents, they wash the engine. Okay, they wash the engine. What ends up happening is you have these carbons being washed off of your engine. So it does work in that way. But what happens is these carbon deposits, they go down and end up in your oil and out the exhaust. This is why if you read any of the liquid directions, or like Techron from one of the gasoline companies, you'll see it says to use when you up until your 3,000, 4,000 mile oil change. Because what happens with detergents, can everyone hear me okay? Just wave or nod. Yeah, okay. I'm just getting an internet signal here, so hopefully everyone can hear me. So what ends up happening is these detergents go into your oil and start degrading your oil. the lubricity of the oil, how well it can lubricate, the viscosity, how thick it is, all starts to become degraded. And that's why they require you to not use it more than twice sometimes. And then make sure you use it and change your oil after you're using it, because your oil is now degraded. They've actually done tests, and we'll show you some of these later on, where they've taken this product, they've put it into engines, right? And then every 3,000 to 4,000 miles, they've checked the oil. And because this burns all of the carbon, doesn't allow this carbon to build up, and it actually prevents carbon from forming again when it's using this product, your oil is much, much cleaner. And you could literally go longer distances between oil changes. Now, I'm not going to give you any particular time frame because every car is going to be different. But the particular test that we did, they ran every 3 or 4,000 miles. They tested the oil for any metallic flakes, any degradation at all, and again, lubricity, viscosity, did blot tests, and to see when the oil changed to the point where it was degraded enough to be that needed to be changed. And they went almost 20,000 miles, checking it every 3,000 to 4,000 miles using this product because of all the carbon that was not deposited into the oil. And so it lubricates your engine as well. So it lubricates it, it cleans it. Really, this is the dollars. When we talk about saving money, this is really where the money is saved, is in the cleaning and in the maintenance, the maintenance free portion of what this product does. It really stops a lot of problems from happening before they even start. So here's an example of a catalytic converter. Now, again, these are actual, except for the bottom photo, obviously that's nobody's, it's a sample, but the two top photos are actually came from using this formula. This isn't cut and pasted from someone else or stolen from the internet somewhere. These are actually, this particular one on the right hand side was one on the left was from a 100,000 mile vehicle. That's the catalytic converter. You can see what it looks like. The one to the right was a 70,000 mile catalytic converter. What ended up happening was a auto dealership told this gentleman that his catalytic converter was bad, and that he needed to change it, and that was the cause of all their problems. So they ended up cutting out or changing the catalytic converter, still had all the same problems, and this was the catalytic converter that they actually not charged him for, but that's the one that they took out of his car after 70,000 miles using this formula in his gas. And you can see the huge difference. Again, to the left, this was a cat engine from a big truck. Just shows the degradation of the metals and how clean it looks to the right. Even with the slightest carbon buildup or dust, I call it, because it can literally be wiped off with a paper towel. So they've had complete engine rebuilds. And we have some testimonial from a cat dealer with complete engine rebuilds where they literally could just wipe off the carbon instead of using harsh chemicals like sulfuric acid. You could see the serial number on the block. That's how clean this engine was when they broke it apart and looked at all the parts. Another couple, literally, guys, I'm only showing you a few as far as testimonials here. There are thousands of testimonials, and we'll start to release these as we move forward. But this is Davis County Sheriff's Department. They ended up spending or saving $25,000+ on fuel compared to the previous year by treating their fuel with our product. Another, you can see the examples here, BMW, Volkswagen, everyone's saving money, talking about power, more power, talking about more miles per gallon, which equals dollars in your pocket. People don't realize that if they're not using some sort of product like ours, that they're actually spending the money anyway, right? In the form of waste, in the form of less power, in the form of lower miles per gallon, in the form of performance maintenance. They're already spending the money. They just don't realize it until it has to come out of their pocket. Now, not only has this been tested in vehicles like cars and trucks, it's also been tested in boats and tractors and watercraft, chainsaws, weed whackers, large trucks, large machinery, grinding mills. I mean, you name anything, generators. Even propane. Right now, they're doing testing in Central America, where they actually take the tab and they put it into the large cylinders of propane, and then they put their fill nozzle on it because propane's a liquid. And when they fill the tank, the tab drops to the bottom, and it treats the propane. And some of the results that they found, I don't have the studies yet, but as some of them, is verbally expressed to me, was that the water, they tested the water boiling, and then they tested the water boiling with the treated propane, and it actually boiled the water faster using less propane by X amount. But we'll get those numbers too. But just the fact that it could even work with propane is pretty impressive to me. So it can work in everything. You can leave this into just a 5-gallon tank or a 2.5-gallon tank that you use for your lawn equipment or for your four-wheelers, ATVs, and it will be preserved for up to a year. And so you can treat all of your equipment with that just in one tank. You don't have to treat just the motor itself or in the fuel tank. You can actually put it into a storage container, and it will work that way as well. So again, saving on fuel. You're going to save on maintenance, lower emissions. You're save on fuel costs. Although this does not raise the octane, it acts like a product that raises the octane because it is an anti-knock property. And because it's an anti-knock product as well, you're able to lower the grade of octane as long as it doesn't jive with what your maintenance suggestion is from your manufacturer. So this product also, just on that note, is OEM compliant, meaning that we're one of the only products out there that comply with fuel standards of manufacturers, because we do not alter the chemistry of fuel at all. We're not an addition to fuel. We can't be detected in the fuel, and it becomes part of fuel. So technically, we are one of the only OEM products out there where manufacturers would claim to be OEM compliant. Let's look a little bit about liquids. So everyone knows there's liquid products out there. One of the problems with liquids, whether it works or not, that's another slide for another time, is that they're probably 80 to 90% plus of carrier. Right, so most of them are like naphtha, which they call it gasoline, but naphtha is a carrier. So the majority of these liquids, this particular safety data sheet is of a particular product that's out there, no names. But if you look at their own safety data sheet, it's 40 to 70% petroleum distillate, which could be mineral spirits, naphtha, anything like that. It's a carrier. Right, it carries the ingredient, the main ingredient, which you look down here, and it's less than 10% of the catalyst material. That's the active ingredient. And all these ingredients in between, like the amine, the acrylic copolymers, all of those are anti-gel, anti-oxidation agents. It basically 70-90% of it is to protect just that less than 10% of active ingredient to keep it into a liquid form. So all of these active ingredients start as powders. Okay, even the tabs, they start as powders, and then they put them into the liquid to become liquid. But in order to create a stability in the liquid, they end up having to add all these additional products, including detergents. We talked about that. Anytime it says amine compounds, whether you want to put proprietary or magical or miracle or mystery, whatever, it's still the detergents. And it washes the carbon. It does not recycle the carbon in the way that we do. So heavy to ship, more expensive for customers to ship or to purchase, can't travel in certain modes of transportation like flight because it is a hazardous material in liquid. And the plastic and the packaging are just excessive. If you took 10 of our wrappers for our product, it would equal about 1 bottle cap in weight of most liquid products out there. Okay, here's it's a little controversial slide I made up, but I think it's important because I'm not trying to bash any particular companies. I'm just trying to show you the Me Too movement out there with products that try to copy us. So this product, again, our product, 35 years of research, billions of gallons of fuel, millions of cars, millions of customers. I mean, literally clinical studies, lab reports, all the fancy stuff like graphs and pie charts and all of that. We've got literally binders to back all of this up. It's not the stuff that's stolen from the internet, pictures of 50 people using the same photos, which I'll show you that here. But this just goes to show you three of the products that are in tab form that are quote unquote competition out there. You look at their safety data sheets, and I circled it in red. They're all the exact same product, because one company, Combustion Technologies, actually makes all 3 of those products. So these products that try to separate themselves from each other, that try to make themselves, put marketing spin on it, they're really just trying to capture the market right now because of what's happening with fuel prices. Meanwhile, we have a product that's been out in the market, no matter if the prices were high, the prices were low, or anywhere in between, 35 years of this product being out there and servicing communities from around the world. If you look on the left, you'll see this graph. This is just came back, and you look at the date, 5/5/2022, so just this month, 2 ingredients in this product. So it's not just me talking. You can listen to somebody and they can yap and say whatever they want. But when I have the lab results just came back from one particular product, which is all the same ingredients for all 3 products, you can see that they're all the exact same. They have 2 ingredients and that is it. Really not much else to say. Now, does it work? Are people getting better miles per gallon? Absolutely. Anything with ferrocene in it, which is an organometallic material, they call it, people use Nobel Prize winning material, product ingredients, compounds. They'll say organometallic. I mean, there's NASA. I mean, they'll use all kinds of catchwords. This all came from us. It all came from the studies 35 years ago from the formulator that worked at NASA, blah, blah, blah. So everything is regurgitated in marketing to make it sound like they're different, but really they're the exact same product. This formula is probably 6 months old and costs about 8 cents, 6 cents to even make as far as raw material. So this is actually, I just wanted to show this because I don't want people saying, well, Dan said this and Dan said that. He has nothing to back it up. I mean, this came just this month from a lab right in Utah. So here's another example. Again, we're never going to steal someone else's claims, testing, photos, results. We're always going to be honest with you guys. We're always going to keep it real. These are just some examples. I mean, literally the same 5 companies are using the exact same chart online to market their product. And none of these products are where that chart actually originally came from. So it is all marketing. It's all money. It's all baloney. But anything with ferrocene, you are going to see some miles per gallon increase. Absolutely. Will it do everything else that we're talking about that our product can do? Absolutely not. And we can prove it through our research. No one else is breaking down engines. No one else is doing the kind of lab testing and have the lab results that we have. Nobody has it out there. You just saw one back a few slides ago, actual lab test that we did just to show that our product actually helps with unwashed gums in fuel, which is the sticky part that helps carbon. We didn't have to do that. That wasn't something that would like, oh, he doesn't do unwashed gums, so we had to kind of prove it. That's not why it was done. It was done because this guy is a scientist and he wants the proof not only for himself but for his customers as well. Again, formulated PhD chemist, rocket scientist, billions of gallons. I'm beating this into the ground. I know that. EPA registered, 35 years of research, guys. This is the real deal. All other products, especially the tabulated products, any type of solid fuel catalyst, those are all based off of our technology. And in fact, there have been several lawsuits, including one of the companies that was just on that last slide, because they tried to infringe on our patent. We ended up suing them, and what ended up happening, they had to reformulate their product to a lesser product, which is the 2 ingredients that you see now. So we have a 0 harm guarantee here. We guarantee that no harm is going to come to your engine by using our product. If you use it as directed, you will never have any issues, no negative side effects. We have insurance that covers worldwide problems. We've never had any type of claims. There's never been any negative side effects that anyone's ever claimed from using the product. Everything has always been positive, and we've had some amazing results. But this is our claim. We will have a 100% no harm guarantee on the product. It is safe for all gas, all diesel engines, all hydrocarbon engines, whether it's a moped or a big rig truck. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the other side of the coin. Let's talk about the income that you can earn with this product. Now, just before we get into that, I want to let everyone know, I get this question quite a bit. Dan, what happens if gas prices go down? Dan, what's going to happen with fuel later on? Dan, what's going to happen? Well, we're not a one pony show. All right. So we have other products in the works. One of the reasons why we partnered with our manufacturer, our business partner, is because they have not only is he a PhD chemist and just a brilliant person, but they have multiple products that we're going to bring to market here. Some that no one's ever seen before, no one's ever used before, not only in MLM, but in retail as well, down to some of their products that they've been marketing for many, many years that have proven results and repeat customers. Because really, guys, if your product doesn't have legs of its own, none of this money matters, does it? Right? If you cannot sell your product in the retail space without being compensated for it, then your product has no business being in the retail space, period. And that goes for a lot of network marketing company products out there. So this product, one of the reasons why I even decided to do what we did by bringing it to multi-level marketing, is because it had a history on its own. People were buying this product, millions of dollars on this product over and over, year after year after year after year, not retreating or regressing, but expanding. Their sales are up, going to multiple markets, now in 22 plus countries they're shipping to. At one point, they've shipped at least a product or two to over 40 countries around the world. So this product has legs, it works. And so the products that are going to come out after this are really going to take us to the next level and beyond. So this compensation plan would be worthless without a product that actually worked without a compensation plan. So this is what makes this company and this product and this comp plan so stable for everyone. So this particular compensation plan is probably, I keep calling it, the most honest and straightforward compensation plan that exists in the market. This is not even a regular forced matrix. This is very different from even any of the forced matrix that anybody's built in network marketing, because the way that it was designed. It's designed as a true forced matrix, meaning moving in a 3x8 matrix. It moves from left to right, filling every open position before it moves on to the next position. So you don't have to balance legs, right? You don't have to get multiple legs as far as unilevels go, where you have to do 2, 4, 5, 6. Nothing wrong with these compensation plans, by the way. Binaries, unilevels, matrix, force matrix. You know what the best compensation plan in the world is? It's one that makes sense to the owners of the company as well as the distributors of the company, right? It's an even balance that helps the company move forward, helps the company expand and survive, and it helps the distributor do more than survive, but thrive. And so I think that is really, when they say the perfect comp plan, I really do believe that that is the answer. It's not how much money the top earners can make or how quick the exit strategy of the owners can take place. I mean, it's none of that. It really is, how much, what kind of balance can you strike between the company and the people that have put in their time, money, and effort and bringing it to market, and the distributors that are putting their time, money, and effort to bringing to the customer base. And I think this really balances out very, very nicely, where most of the money is going back to the field while the company is making a small profit, enough to be able to move into international markets, have legal defense if something ever happened with other people trying to impede on the patent and things like that. Very, very little breakage, and even very little profit goes back actually to the company. We try to keep it as much as possible into the field, because that's where we came from. We came from this industry as distributors, as consultants, as owners of companies. So we wanted to keep this money flowing where it belongs, where we really want the people to thrive in the field, where we've come from. So you have 4 components to this compensation plan. So you have the retail bonus, the fast start bonus, you have the matrix bonus, and then the check match. And I mean, these are super, super simple to explain. There's really, if you can't explain it, then it's going to be very hard for you to feel confident in building it, right? So let's break this down quickly, each part. So you have the retail bonus. Again, you can go back on this recording and you can look at these and stop and listen slowly and pause. You'll learn a lot more that way, because I'm from the Northeast and I talk really fast, and we're just going to blow through this really quickly. But the retail portion of it, you make the difference between wholesale and retail. So for example, if you purchase the 1,500 pack, which is 100 packs of products, you're going to earn $900. The 60 pack, which is 3 packs of product, you're going to earn $12 in profit. Okay, makes sense. The difference between retail and wholesale. So somebody can make a living just retailing the product, hanging out at gas stations and gas pumps and showing people the benefit of our product. Get into the fast start bonus. Now this follows generations, meaning sponsorship levels, generations of sponsorship. So if I sponsor you and you sponsor him, that is generations. If I place someone on level 1 and somebody else plays somebody on level 2, that's levels. Right. And it'll be more defined here in a second. So 3 generations we pay in fast start: 35%, 10%, and 5%, except for one exception, which is the 1 pack, the $24 pack. We pay 1 generation and we pay all 50% out immediately. So this is the $24 pack. Instead of doing 35, 10, and 5, we actually do the full 50 right off the bat, because it's important to get money in our pockets, right? I remember a lot of times when I had joined companies hoping for, a lot of different things to happen. I used my credit card. I used tomorrow's money to pay bills for today's entry into the next network marketing promise that I wanted to get involved with. And you need to have that money come back to you as quick as possible, right? So this fast start was made for that. 50% right off the bat if someone purchased that $24 pack, and then 35, 5, 10, and 5. And it looks something like this. So if somebody were going to purchase the $60 pack, the 3 pack, they're going to earn 21, 6, and 3. The 10 pack, of course, 56, 16, and 8, and then 455, 130, and 65. So this is no joke. This is really decent money right out of the gate. It's not spread out between, we didn't make the fast start like a 30 level fast start with people that didn't have their hands or their sweat equity into it or making money off of your sweat equity. We put that money back into the people that are working, right? Maybe your sponsor is mentoring you. He deserves a little bit, doesn't he, for helping you to doing 3-way calls. And maybe they're sponsored as well. But this is about a team build, and everything about this comp plan is about a team build. And we'll get to that more when we talk about the matrix. So 3 levels of fast start right out of the gate. Here you could have 0 PV or CV, commissionable volume. You can order no product. Okay, you can order no product and you can still earn your first generation. So anyone that you sponsor, you're able to earn 35% on your first level without even ordering any products. So think about this. Someone comes in for free, doesn't even order products, sits on their butt, finds someone that might be interested, and they earn 35% or the first generation of Fast Start. That's pretty good. If you don't have any money, you want to work your way up, you want to finance your own business. I mean, this is a perfect way to do this. So talk a little bit about the 3x8 matrix. So this pays evenly over 8 levels, hence the 3x8. So it's 3 wide and 8 deep, where a unilevel does not limit the front, how many first level members you have. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 15 legs. We limit the width, and we also limit the depth that you can get paid. But it's a lot more exciting than just a 3x8 box, because the way that we're paid and the depth that we're paid, because some of the properties here, it pays you way more than 3x8 matrix. So you need no personally sponsored. So let's say Jeff over here, he doesn't even order any product. He comes in for free. He sponsors someone. He earns 35% of whatever that person's initial order was. Now, if somebody orders again, whether it's same day, the next day, or the next month, that second order falls into the matrix. All right. So he's sitting there, he's earning his 35%, and then he orders product, 60 CV, he moves into the matrix, he still gets his 3 levels of Fast Start, right? Still gets that. But what ends up happening is that he also gets 3 levels of the matrix. And he didn't even sponsor anyone yet. So we're talking, we went from a gentleman who's not ordering any product and earning money, who's not sponsoring anybody and earning money. And so where does attrition come from in this industry? Well, it mainly comes from people not making money, putting out more money than's coming in. And this is what the Fast Start and the matrix does, is it puts money in your pocket for just a little bit of effort, a tiny bit of effort. You're earning more than what you're putting out. You put a little bit more effort, sponsor 2 people, you get a little bit more. Sponsor 2 more people, you get a little bit more. You can max out the entire comp plan with just 5 personally sponsored members. So in this matrix, it works like this. If you sponsor 3 people, they're going to fall in your front level, maybe because somebody above you needs an open spot, and it may fall in your open spot. Again, we're not going to go into detail. This might be the most confusing part of the whole comp plan, but it always looks for the next open position. And after 3, where is your 4th person going to go? Your 5th, 6th, 7th person that you introduce to the business is going to go underneath someone else from left to right until that entire level is filled, and then everyone's going to start working on the next one. This is a team build. Everyone is always going to be in your group. They're never going to go to someone else's matrix. They're always going to be in your group, but you're all working towards the same goal, which is to fill this matrix. And we're talking about the money here right now. So just by these first 3 levels, you can earn up to, let's just say everyone, as an example, is purchasing 60 CV, right? 3 packs of product, $60. You can earn up to $117. If you order 60 CV and everyone in the first 3 levels is ordering, you're earning $117 and you've never sponsored anybody. So is $117 more than 60? Yeah, it's almost double, right? So you almost doubled your monthly commitment in product by doing nothing, by being involved in an incredible company, a great product, and a incredible compensation plan. You want to do a little bit more, you're talking about 81, 243, moving down here, $3,276 you're making a month just by sponsoring 4 people. And then you can earn all of it by sponsoring 5, which ends up being around 30 grand. So if you think about it that way, 30 grand, sponsor 5 people, minimal effort for a product like this, you could really start to change your life. Now, really, this is the part that Val gets really excited about, the part that I get excited about to some extent too, but this is really, I mean, this is where you really make some serious money. First, I guess, I'm not going to go into dynamic compression for time right now. You can go back and look at this. We'll make this whole PowerPoint available to you, and you can move at your own pace to go through it. I want to talk about the matching bonus right now, because that really is a huge, huge part of this compensation plan. So we talk about levels and generations. The thing about the matching bonus is it follows your generational sponsorship. So it follows, if you personally sponsored someone, it doesn't matter if they fall on your first level or your 400th level down, that's still your first generation, right? So every time you sponsored somebody, you have the potential of earning 50% of whatever they earn in the matrix. Does that give you a reason to be a leader, to help nurture your new member, your new partner? Does that make you want to do three-way calls and make you really want to support your team? Absolutely. And that's really the behavior that this part of the comp plan was trying to drive, a team building behavior. You think about this, if somebody is earning that $29,520 from a full matrix, you're earning $14,760 of that. Is that incredible? $14,000 just from sponsoring someone who saw the vision like you did. Now, you need 5 personally sponsored to max out this comp plan, right? What if you had all 5? It's over $100,000 a month just by sponsoring 5 people. Now, if you're someone like Malcolm or Val or Daniel or any of these guys that are sponsoring dozens and dozens and dozens of people, I mean, we're growing by, leaps and bounds right now. How much money are they going to make just a matching bonus? I hate to put you guys on the spot, but I mean, this is the reality of it. So this 3x8 matrix can make you a great deal of money, but mentoring your group, helping them earn that same kind of money that no one usually makes in this industry, you want them to do better than you, right? Where does that happen? Everyone's competition usually. When you have multiple legs and you're trying to balance everything, you're usually competition with your downline, right? You got to decide where to put this person. You got to decide I got to start another leg or another 2 legs to make this rank. We don't have ranks, right? We have none of that baloney. The only thing you need to know is that you need to sponsor 5 people and order 60 CVM products, $60. That's it. That's the extent of your overhead. And then you have to make sure you nurture your members. So that's the compensation plan very quickly from a fast talking northerner. Again, you can slow this down. We'll have these slides available for you to understand dynamic compression and how just because it's a 3x8 matrix, you really could get paid down 10, 12, 14, 30 levels deep because everything compresses. Now let's bring it down to a little bit really quickly. I want to do this slide and then we'll move on. So this is $1,000 example here. So instead of thinking big, what if you did a small fraction of that? What does that look like? Well, if everyone did 1,000 just like you did, you're earning $2,500 just in the check match, and you're earning 1,000 in your own matrix bonus. You're earning more in helping and nurturing people than you are with your own check match. So it's very, very powerful. No matter how much you make, you're going to be earning 50% of everyone that you help. Guys, here's some social media points here. Make sure you are June 1st. Actually, here's all the social media addresses. And then I want you to take a look at this real quick. So here's a little announcement. So June 1st is going to be our pre-launch. Right now, you guys are in the pre-launch. We had a little server issue today, a little hiccup, last week, a couple of weeks ago. I mean, things are going to happen during this beta phase where we're moving servers and testing new things and making things go live and removing things, etc. So this is the beta version. You guys are here at the very beginning, before the beginning. So that's part of the trade-off really, is that you're here in the very beginning, positioned at the very top of this explosion, and you might have to deal with a couple little quirks and little issues that go along. But trust me, nothing frustrates. No one's more frustrated than I am when things like that happen. But I also am realistic, and I know that these things do happen as we start to grow. But pre-launch starts June 1st. What does that mean? That means that live orders are beginning. That doesn't mean everybody's going to order on June 1st. What it means is it's going to start from the time that you were entered into the system, in one order at a time. You're going to be placed you're going to have a live link and you're going to be able to order your product. And the reason why we have to do this is because this is a matrix. If one person orders before someone else, that commission structure and that matrix, that connection is broken. So one at a time, we're going to go through it. Everyone's going to get an email and a text. So make sure your email and your text is correct. If you have an issue with that, if the ability to change it is not in the back office yet, it will be. And if you want to do it before then, send an email to support@xceleratefueltabs.com. So live orders begin one at a time from first entry all the way down to the last person. And then from that point, we'll open it live and it will come in live as orders come in. You're going to start to see some pretty decent changes in the back office started June 1st. You're going to be able to move up one level at a time on your tree, just little things like that. You're going to be able to see all your personally sponsored instead of having to sift through them. So a lot of little tools to help you manage your organization, your business better. You're going to begin to see some marketing material come out as far as social media graphics, more posts. I started in the beginning to start laying some stuff out there, but I just got so busy. You can imagine trying to put all the working and moving pieces together. But we're going to start releasing that again starting June 1st. So that the whole point of this is that you'll be able to take these graphics, take these textual posts, and just cut and paste. Just grab them, put them on your own Facebook or your own social media platforms, and you don't have to think about it, right? You don't have to design anything, you don't have to hire anybody. It's all going to be done for you in the framework of that particular social media outlet. So Instagram posts are going to be Instagram size, TikToks, etc. Landing pages will be live. You're going to have, I think, one or maybe even two landing pages, but definitely one going to be on June 1st. The site between June 1st and June 3rd is going to go live, and that's on the Xcelerate Fuel tabs where you only see the login right now. That's going to be the actual replicated site for everyone. Shipping products between sometime the 15th to the 20th, maybe a little bit sooner for some people, maybe towards the 15th to the 20th for the majority of people. And then the official company launch in US and Canada is going to be July 1st. So pretty excited about that. So let's move back here, guys. Just there's some social media links right there. Make sure June 1st, I guess my whole point of moving was June 1st is when we're going to start really taking advantage of social media and start posting on all of our social media outlets on a daily basis and start building up and moving forward. We'll be fairly solid by then. And I hope you guys will like and follow, comment when applicable. And I guess that is it. Wow, that was a lot to put in, but I'm super excited, guys. I hope you're equally as excited. There's a lot to this. Very, very excited, very proud of this product, very proud of this compensation plan, the leaders that we have in it. We're not making deals with leaders to come over. We're not doing anything that everyone else does. I mean, this is an honest, straightforward company. We're not making a ton of profit as a company. We're trying to build just like you are. So I hope you appreciate that. And if you're not on board, I'd love for you to get on board, get with the person that invited you, and learn a little bit more about what we're doing.